You're committing a felony right now. That's what the HOA president screamed at me, in front of 40 witnesses, the moment I calmly pulled out my phone and started dialing the cops. Picture this, a grown woman in a starched HOA polo, standing right in the middle of my private dock with her little entourage, looking at me like I'm the crazy one. Spoiler alert, she didn't own a single inch of that dock, never had. But if you think this mess ends with a polite neighborly chat, buckle up. It gets weirder, messier, and way more expensive than you'd ever expect. Before I drag you into the chaos, do me a favor. Drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from, and if your neighborhood drama can top this, I'm all ears. I'm betting you haven't seen a feud quite like this one. Let me back up a sec. It started on a Saturday morning, way too early for human beings to be conscious, let alone rowdy. I got jolted awake by this obnoxious laughter, echoing across the water, straight through my bedroom window. I roll over, check my phone. 7 a.m. Fantastic. I'm already bracing myself, thinking maybe someone's dog is loose, or some kids are goofing off by the street. But no, this noise is coming from my dock. The dock that, as spelled out in black and white on my land deed, belongs solely to my address. Still half asleep, I shuffle to the window and nearly spill my coffee. 6 strangers are sprawled out across my dock like it's their own private resort. Camping chairs, a portable grill, smoke curling up into the morning mist, and a cooler big enough to hide a small horse. Some dude is doing cannonballs off the side. There's a woman in a neon yellow bikini snapping selfies. The whole scene smells like cheap beer and burnt charcoal. Oh, and bonus, 2 kayaks are tied off to my dock posts. Not only are these people trespassing, they're hosting a breakfast bash. I yank on a shirt, slip into some jeans, stomp down the stairs, my feet pounding out every ounce of irritation. Every step on those old planks should have been a warning, but these folks? They just laughed louder, clinked their bottles, like I was the entertainment. I stop about 5 feet from their little party, clear my throat. Grill guy looks up, spatula in hand, squinting like I'm the rude one. The rest turn and stare, faces ranging from mildly annoyed to flat out. Are you seriously bothering us? I keep my voice neutral, heart pounding but calm. Morning. I'm Owen. I own this dock. I'm going to need y'all to pack up and leave. Silence. The kind that makes your skin prickle. Then neon bikini lady busts out laughing, like I'd just recited the world's best dad joke. We're allowed to be here, she says, waving her phone like a badge. Sharon told us it's the community dock. Sharon Peton. Of course. Of course it's Sharon. I tell her, holding it together. That's 200 yards that way. This is private property. My property. Grill guy stands up. Guy's built like a linebacker. Look, man, we paid for dock access. Take it up with Sharon. Paid for dock access. That one hits like a slap in the face. I'm about to say something when I hear footsteps behind me. Enter Sharon Peton, HOA president, strutting down the gravel path with her crisp HOA polo and a clipboard clutched tight, like she's the sheriff in some discount western. Her smile is all big and fake, eyes cold as a Minnesota winter. Owen, she calls, voice sugary. I heard you were causing a disturbance. Is there a problem? I point at the crowd. Yeah, Sharon, there's a problem. These people are on my private property. They need to leave. She gives me that look, the one you reserve for a toddler mid-tantrum. Oh, Owen. All the docks in this community fall under shared usage. It's part of the guidelines. Good thing I'm a journalist by trade. Old habits die hard. I whip out my phone and pull up the deed scans. That's funny, I say, because according to the survey and the title, this dock is deeded exclusively to this address. HOA has zero jurisdiction here. She barely looks, just waves it off like it's yesterday's news. Those old deeds don't reflect current standards. The board voted to implement a dock sharing program. It's for the good of the community. Now my reporter senses are tingling. What meeting was that, Sharon? I never got any notice. She smiles tighter. It was the April meeting. You'd know if you bothered to show up. Except I was there. Sat through 90 mind-numbing minutes about parking stickers and pool keys. Not a word about docks. But Sharon? She's too busy reassuring the trespassers. Don't worry, folks. Mister. Marlowe's just having trouble adjusting. Yellow bikini lady goes back to her selfies, grill guy smirks, and Sharon shoots me this look, like, what are you going to do about it? So I start taking photos. Wide shots, close-ups, Sharon in her little HOA regalia. She bristles. You can't take photos without permission. I almost laugh. Actually, on my property, documenting trespass is exactly what I should do. She drops her voice real quiet. You don't want to be the guy who fights the HOA, Owen. There it is, the threat. I just smile. We'll see. And head back to my house, mind spinning. She'd underestimated the wrong guy. First thing I do is pull the county property records. Takes 5 minutes. The dock is clearly part of my private lot. No easements, no shared access, nothing. I save the copies, open a folder, HOA investigation. Next, I dig around the HOA website, looking for any dock sharing documentation. Nada. Only the last 3 months of minutes. None about docks. Giant red flag. HOAs are required to keep years of minutes. I email the board, polite but direct, requesting all minutes from the last 2 years, anything about docks or shared access. I cite the law, copy every board member, read receipts on. Then I wait. See, people hiding things either snap back fast or don't respond at all. While I wait, I talk to my neighbors. Russ, 2 houses down, opens the door, hears my story and sighs. So, she finally came for your dock too. Turns out, Sharon tried to rent his out for community spirit. He said no, got slapped with a bogus landscaping violation the next week. Cost him $600 in survey fees. Retaliation, clear as day. I keep asking around. One neighbor, Iris, says Sharon threatened her over a landscaping rule that didn't even exist. Another, Fletcher, got the same pitch about dock sharing. It's a pattern. Say no, get harassed. 3 days after my email, the HOA treasurer, Pauline, writes back, professional as ever, says she'll send all minutes by week's end. That tells me not everyone on the board's in on this. When I get the files, I comb through them page by page. Nothing about docks. Not one mention of Sharon's little program. But then comes the twist. An emergency community values meeting gets scheduled, no agenda. My gut says Sharon's going for a public shaming. I show up, rooms packed, 70 people. At least double the usual crowd. Sharon works the room like she's running for office, then starts in on this syrupy speech about community spirit and the importance of sharing. Throws up slides of smiling kids on docks. Stats about how only 12 out of 180 families have private access. Without naming me, she paints the picture, greedy dock owners versus good neighbors. I can't take it. I stand up. Sharon, what meeting was this dock sharing vote in? I've read every set of minutes, there's no record. Dead silence. She recovers fast. The vote was recorded. Just because you disagree doesn't mean it didn't happen. I hold up my phone. Here's the minutes. Not one mention. She dismisses it. This isn't the time for technicalities. We're here for community values. She calls for a vote. How many support sharing resources? Hands go up. The numbers say she wins. In that moment, it isn't about facts, it's about who can spin the story best. That night, social media blows up. Suddenly I'm the villain, the selfish guy who called out the HOA queen bee. But facts have a way of catching up. I double down, install extra cameras aimed at my dock, set them to record motion, and log every single incident. Over the next 2 weeks, I catch 18 different trespassing incidents, different people, different days, all using my dock like it's a hotel pool. Then I find the smoking gun, an active vacation rental listing offering private dock access, $50 per day. The photos? My dock, my neighbor's docks. The host? Sharon P. With a 5-star profile. This isn't just HOA overreach, it's commercial fraud. She's making money off property she doesn't own. I gather screenshots, cross-reference booking dates to my camera footage. They line up perfectly. Time to follow the money. I request the full HOA financial records, statutes on my side. Pauline sends them over. Buried in the spreadsheets, I find a revenue line for facility rentals. $3, 203 months. That's over 60 bookings. No board approval, no votes, nothing. She's funneled rental money through the HOA. Embezzlement, plain and simple. I share everything with my 3 fellow dock owners. We meet off-site, compare notes, and agree. It's time for legal action. I find a lawyer who's got a track record with HOA disputes. He looks over my evidence and just says, "You've got an airtight case. But be ready. People like this escalate." I tell him, I'm ready. He drafts a cease and desist letter, legally bulletproof. We send it certified. Sharon calls me absolutely furious. "Do you know what you're doing to this community?" I keep calm. "Sharon, stop breaking the law." Stop renting property you don't own. She threatens to audit my house for violations. I tell her to knock herself out. My lawyer will be present. 3 days later, Sharon posts about a community appreciation day. Right at my dock and the 2 others she's targeted. It's a setup, a dare, a bet that I won't call the cops on a crowd of families. This is it. I prep with my lawyer, inform the sheriff ahead of time, organize my neighbors, print out property signs, set up cameras. Saturday arrives, clear skies, a crowd gathering, Sharon at the center, all smiles, kids running, grills smoking, adults spreading out across private property. At 2 o'clock, I step up to the property line. Excuse me, everyone, this dock is privately owned. Please move to the community area. Confusion, then outrage. You're kidding. It's a community event. Sharon grabs her mic. Everyone, you have every right to be here. HOA sanctioned. She stares me down, daring me to act. So I do. I pull out my phone, tell everyone plainly, you've been asked to leave. If you don't, I'll call the sheriff. They scoff. He's calling the cops on families. Sharon shrieks. That's illegal. I call anyway, calmly explain. 40 people trespassing, clear warnings, all documented. The dispatcher says deputies are on the way. 15 minutes later, 2 sheriff's cars roll in. The lead deputy reviews my deed, property line, and the signs. He nods. This is definitely private property. He turns to Sharon. Ma'am, are you the event organizer? She insists she's the HOA president. This is a community event. He asks for written owner consent. She sputters, dodges, tries to flex her authority. That's when I hand him the evidence folder. Screenshots, rental listings, financials. His face hardens as he flips through it. Ma'am, have you been renting docks you don't own? Sharon goes beet red, then pale. Those were donations for community access. The deputy shakes his head. Looks like commercial rentals, ma'am, through the HOA accounts. The treasurer standing nearby quietly pipes up. I had no knowledge of this. No authorization. Another board member chimes in. There was never a vote. You could feel the mood shift, confusion, then anger, but not at me this time. People start murmuring. Wait, I paid for dock access. I thought it was legit. The deputy tells Sharon she needs to come in for questioning, potential fraud, misappropriation, trespass. She loses it, yelling about persecution, blaming me, claiming calling the police is illegal. The deputy, steady as ever, reminds her that reporting trespass is exactly what the law requires. He escorts her away as the crowd disperses, some people apologizing, some just stunned. A woman stops me. We paid her for lake access. She said it was community approved. The deputy tells me I did everything right. Fair warnings, proper documentation, the works. The fallout? Sharon gets charged with multiple counts of trespass and fraud. The HOA board boots her out, launches a full audit, uncovers over $8,000 in shady rental income in less than a year. They overhaul the rules, put real checks and balances in place. And here's the kicker. The community finally sees the whole picture. Some folks apologize, realizing they'd been manipulated. Others, still icy, blaming me for ruining a good thing. But now people start sharing their own stories. Intimidation, bogus fines, threats. Turns out, I wasn't the first target, just the first to stand my ground. We file a civil suit, settle out of court for damages and restitution. Sharon pleads guilty, gets probation, community service, and is banned from ever holding HOA office again. She sells her house, moves away. The neighborhood breathes easier. Board meetings get transparent, and for once, nobody's getting harassed over mailbox colors or imaginary rules. And me? I sit on my dock one morning, coffee in hand, watching the sun glint off the water. Peaceful. The fight taught me more than I wanted to know about power, courage, and what neighbors owe each other. Sometimes standing up for what's right will make you the bad guy, at least for a while. But giving in, staying silent, that's how the bullies win. So let me ask, where's the line for you? When does keeping the peace start enabling injustice? Ever had to stand up to someone in power, even if it made you the villain? Drop your story below. Let's see whose side you're on. And if you think justice matters, smash that like button and stick around for more unbelievable true stories.